Hi, we're excited to be here. This handsome guy right here told me that he wasn't going to make too many funny faces while I did this haircut, but I wanted to show you guys how I do a men's haircut or a boy's haircut. I know resources are really tough right now in the situation that we're in, and so I want to help out in any way that I can. So I'm going to go through the process. I'm going to talk to you about the tools that I use, some really big tips that you don't want to forget, and kind of what I do. And if you have any questions, you can definitely contact me or comment below and I'll try and answer them. But the biggest thing with the haircut is you don't want to go any longer than 2 or 3 weeks between cuts. Will, right, it's been about 3 weeks for him. Would you say 3? It's been about 3 weeks for him. Usually we go longer, but hey, we're setting the standard high. So 2 or 3 weeks per haircut or between haircuts, and the reason why we do that is because we don't want to lose the shape that our stylist gave us and created, and it's just going to be harder for you to cut the hair the longer it is. It takes more time, and then we get frustrated. So just kind of stay on top of it, and you'll be golden. I use Wahl clippers, Wahl designer clippers. I've had these forever, and I love them. Usually haircuts use either a number 3 guard or a number 2 guard. I have a number 3 on Will right now. So we're going to turn them on, and we're just going to use the clippers. We're going to bring them up till about right here. That's what I like to do. And sometimes with clippers, when you're using them, you have to pass by the spot a couple of times. If your hair texture is more coarse or has a little bit of curl to it, then you're going to want to do it a little bit more. If it's a finer hair texture, then you're probably going to want to do it, you're going to want to do it a couple times too. It's just better safe than sorry. I'm going to have you turn. There we go. You can kind of see what I'm doing. The other really good thing or thing that you need to keep in mind is you want really good lighting. Any shadows that you have when you're doing men's haircuts are, it's going to be hard for you to feel like you're blending it right. So get out when the lighting is really good, put your kitchen light on, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're going all around here. If you don't feel comfortable going as far up as I have, there's no reason, or you can, how do I phrase this? Don't feel like you need to go all the way up if you're not comfortable with that. Go a little bit lower and then take your clippers right here and push it half a step. I don't know if you guys can. Just a little bit more, and it's going to be easier for you to blend. Okay, so keep that in mind. But once we get that perimeter there, I'm going to turn you back around.
Will you explain what you mean by blend?
By blend, okay. He has a good question. See, this is why he's here. Okay, so blending. You know, have you seen those haircuts where you can just see the lines there where it's really heavy? Like you can even see it right here. It's heavy and then it's short here. If you don't blend that well, then you're always going to have that line. So take your clipper, push it up a half a step longer, and it'll just help blend that line more. And I'll show you a little bit more how to do that.
So you're adding layers of the middle lengths in between.
Yes, layers of middle.
Gradually get longer.
There you go. Yes.
Stair stepping.
He's been getting haircuts for me for a long time, so he's the expert in that. But yeah, we're kind of stair stepping the length. So we go a little bit, start short here, we go a little bit longer, and it just gives it a nice even blend. The buzz cuts have a purpose, but we don't need to have it all the time, right?
Not since I was 10.
No buzz cuts since you're 10. Okay, so then I take my scissors and I cut the top part right here. It's important that you cut a guide, and we do that in the mohawk area. And I always want to start my guide up here on the top of the head because that's the highest point of the head. If you try and cut your guide here and then you move your way back, this is going to end up a lot shorter than you want to. So start in the back. For him, it's just a trim, so we're going to do a little bit. Okay, and you see that we got a straight line there. And I pull it up a little bit further, and you can see I'm matching this up right here to the long part. all together. So then when I do that, I can come up here. Hopefully you guys can see it. This is a little bit longer than this middle part here. So we line up to the middle and we cut all of this off right here. We just kind of straighten up our line, make it all even. If your son or husband's hair is really fine or even really blonde, you will probably see these hair cutting lines a lot easier. And I'll show you what you can do to blend that out, but you're gonna wanna be more mindful and more conscious of the cuts that you're making. So in fact, I wanted to note with you guys, this is super important. If this haircut is taking you longer than 45 minutes to an hour, then stop, take a breather, and then finish it out later. It really shouldn't take you longer than that, especially if it's only a 2 or 3 week grow out. So I did all that. If you have lighter or blonde hair, I just cut this way. Kind of check your lines going this way too. You want them all to match up. It doesn't need to be like super, super perfect, but if there's one line that's a little bit longer than the others, you want to match that up, okay? So we got that done. The reason why is it helps grow more. You don't want your hair wet when you're using the buzzers, because all that wet hair will stick to the blade and it just creates more of an uneven cut. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. If you're like Will and you have a little bit of a part and a comb over, by the point you want to kind of comb it over so you can kind of see where you're going. You don't like the word comb over, do you? What else do I call it? Oh, what else?
Bad connotation, I guess. He's combed from one direction to another direction.
Yeah. He's not an old man. He's handsome. And a lot of people think he looks like Matt Damon, huh? He just shaved off some of his facial hair too, so I'm a little sad about that. Not really, I'm not. Did not like kissing that thing, but anyways.
You wouldn't even know, you never did.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a comb. You want something wide like this that matches the width of the blade. And you're gonna take it, and this is where the blending comes in. So I'm gonna take it, you can see the weight right there. I'm gonna hold my comb up, and as soon as I see more hair, like if I'm pulling it out to where this hair matches the edge of the comb, if I pull it out a little bit more, I'll see some hair hanging out longer than it should. That's when I start using my clippers to blend it. You can see that line is already gone a little bit. Okay.
You're not holding it flat against my head. You're pulling it out so the hair stands on it.
Yeah, so I'm not holding it flat against the head. I'm pulling it out a little bit so it blends in. So if you notice, his head's around, but we want to give it a nice straight shape. So we're gonna pull it out just a little bit. Also, so we don't cut divots into his head. So I kind of roll it out just a little bit and kind of work my way out a little bit more. Okay. Do the same thing with the back. This part's always tricky with this cowlick, but that's okay. I'm gonna turn and show you. So you can kind of see it's heavy right in here. I'm gonna have you turn your head a little bit. Heavy right in there. I'm gonna take my comb and just kind of lift it out just a little bit. Again, if you're not comfortable with doing this, then I would start with maybe a 2 right here on the bottom, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and just work your way around it. Okay, so we just blended the bottom to the top. What I like to do from here too is sometimes there's still a little bit of heaviness that goes around. So I like to cut what I like to call my corners out. So I pull this out, you can see there's a little point right there. I'll cut my point out. Some people like that weight. I particularly don't, so I just cut that away. So here are my magic scissors. They're my texturizing shears. If there's a little bit more, I'll take them hair is curly or you just want to get rid of those straight lines, just come up here and do it a little bit. Okay, so now he's looking extra handsome.
It's debatable.
Extra handsome, I think. Okay, here's like the most important part is the perimeter. We're gonna do his hairline and his neckline. What you really want to keep in mind is that you taper this really, really short because it'll help keep its shape, it'll help grow better. Okay, so for his neckline, I'm gonna take these small trimmers. They're Wahl again, but they're peanuts. And I'm just gonna outline his neckline right here. Okay, and notice that I'm using it down. We're going across here. Okay, and here's where it's really important. I could just stop right there, but then all this is going to grow really thick and heavy. So I'm going to take my comb, and I'm actually going to push the hair down and taper it more here. I push it down right here because he's got a little bit of cowlick. Up here, I'm going to roll it just a little bit more so I'm shaving it off closer to the skin, if that makes sense. And that just gives it a really nice, clean look to it and helps it grow in better. You want to clean up the neck here. Just do a light touch on the neck. We're going to do this side right here. Don't be afraid to move the ear out of the way too while you're cleaning up this side area. So grab your comb, go almost to like, almost put the bottom of your comb to the edge of the skin right there and pull it out just a little bit and it will give it an even cleaner finish. Always want to make sure that your sideburns are even. Here we go. Okay, but we're all set and good to go. He looks so handsome, doesn't he? But here are the 3 things I want you to remember with a haircut. Don't wait any longer than 3 weeks between haircuts so you can keep your shape. A haircut should only last 30-45 minutes at the most. And make sure you're really tapering the edges right here and getting it close so it can grow out better. But it's going to take practice, some patience as well. But if you have any questions, let me know.